Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this video we're going to be doing an ADI Part 3 post-test interview with Jerry. Jerry has just taken his Part 3 test yesterday. Spoiler alert, he passed. Going to do a little interview. So I hope you enjoy the video. He's going to share with you his journey, his training, how it went, and the kind of things he did to get the success, and he'll also share with you how the test went, how he adapted, what the examiner said, and hopefully that'll be helpful to you, especially if you're out there that you're about to take a Part 3 or you've done one and you've got that stress of thinking, oh, will I ever pass this thing? Jerry was on his second attempt, so he had that pressure, that feeling. So you're not alone. And if you work together and get the help you need, you can succeed. I will just plug my DIT kit, my driving instructor training kit. Jerry took my course, the online course, before he got in car with the training. He actually features in it. So if you purchase the course, you'll see Jerry on his very first lesson where he started to give me route directions. And just think now, fast forward, so he's actually passed. So great news. So I will put a link in the description about the DIT kit and how you can get it. There's a Part 1, a Part 2 and Part 3. And yeah, I hope you like this video. If you do, please consider liking it. Subscribe for future content. And if you'd like to leave a comment for future content, please do. So before any further ado, let's get on and meet Jerry and find out how he did in this test. Do it. So yeah, great. Let's kick it off. Right. So welcome, Jerry. Thank you for agreeing to do this little post Part 3 test interview. So I'll hand it over to you. How'd you get on?
Well, I passed.
Congratulations. So that was yesterday.
Yes.
So yeah, really good news. So do you want to sort of share sort of a bit of the background story, like your journey, your training journey to get to become an ADI?
Yeah. I think I started, I think it was like September 2022. The PDI started July last year. Big learning curve, massive learning curve. This was my second attempt. My first attempt, I failed earlier this year. Took all the advice that Brad gave me after that, and I've got to say the guy is really good.
So that's the examiner. Just use that.
Sorry, yeah, Brad the examiner.
Right.
Really nice. He's very good. He explains everything, and all I'd suggest is to take everything he says on board. Just went back, dug deep. This time I made sure I had the right pupil, prepped the pupil. It made him fully aware of what was going to happen. Done a lot more research this time, checked my routes, checked the times, sat down with him. Where do you feel you need to improve? Wrote it all down. And funny enough, on the day we were going to do clutch control, and he got in the car. He hadn't been driving for 2 weeks and missed his mirrors completely. And it was like, there we go. We'll just change it to mirrors. And funny enough, while we were working on the mirrors, it improved his clutch work. And it was like 2 birds with 1 stone, really. But yeah, it's still stinking in.
Brilliant. So so you did your trainings, you did your the online stuff we do, stuff. We did our in-car training.
That's right.
Then, so you on a trainee license. So you did your first one for 6 months because you're on your second trainee license.
Second trainee license as well, yeah.
You did first trainee license, and you took your first attempt nearest the end. I think it was. I've got your first attempt up on screen, which was sort of December, just before Christmas.
That's right. It was, yeah.
So, and I think that was nearing the end of that first
month. Yeah, I had about a month left on that one.
And as you say, you weren't quite there
No,
yet. I remember the feedback there is, if you don't mind me
no, that's
sharing,
fine. Yeah, yep,
is because I just had a little look through, and you've definitely taken all the points on board because um it it kind of the first one was didn't pass on the planning. You passed on your risk and your teaching and learning strategies. So it just weren't quite the right
yeah,
lesson. And you kind of this is the feedback from the examiner that you started the lesson sort of talking about, I think it was about lane discipline, how you're going to be doing it on roundabouts, and you included that at the beginning of the lesson, setting the goals and all that. And then at the end of the lesson, in the summary, you were still saying, yeah, so next lesson we need to sort out
yeah.
your lane discipline. So the exam was like, we didn't really
There's no
do
training there,
we didn't
no
really
learning.
achieve the goal, and
Yeah,
so therefore the learning didn't take place, was not the quite the right lesson for the pupil, more adaptation
yeah,
needed. And you've gone away and you took that because that was it. He was saying like, if you'd done that, you'd be all right.
yeah. I think his words were, if I'd have got to the root cause of why he was, I think he was turning wide. It was like coming in the corners too wide.
Right.
And he said, I think it was along the lines of, if you'd have got there 10 minutes earlier, you would have passed. But looking back, I would have scraped that pass, I think, and it would have, so it sounds funny, but I'm glad I failed close and took everything on board, went back to basics and thought, right, this is where I need to improve. So this time I mean, talking to other ADIs at the test centre, and just when you see them, Ivan was a brilliant one, gave me a lot of good advice. Carlton, talking to him.
Yeah.
I've been out, I mean, obviously, I've had you sit in the car giving me feedback. I've been out with Mike Knapp, he's been brilliant. Catherine, I can't remember Catherine's, Catherine, she actually sat in the car and kicked my ass basically on a lesson and told me where I
Yeah.
was going wrong. Adrian Stimpson's another one I sat in with, just
Yeah.
watching them and how seamless they were doing it, and it was like, this is where I want to be, this is what I need to do.
So, you've got taken it upon yourself to do that because a lot of
Yeah,
people don't. You've thought, right, do you know what? I need to get this, and you've invested your time. You've gone out
yeah,
with all. I mean, all them people, and it's good. Like we've got the little network, the
yeah,
Zoom, where you can because they love it, don't they?
yeah.
We're lucky that we've got ADIs sort of say, yeah, come with me. I've got a free slot on Tuesday. Jump in.
That's it.
Okay, and you've done that, and you've learned, and you see different ways of achieving
Yeah,
the same
oh,
kind of thing.
definitely.
There's no one right way, is there?
No,
It's like however it's your style and how you do
yeah.
it. And I must say, you were confident, weren't you, going into this? You were like,
This
you
one
didn't
I
want to be
was.
arrogant, but you were like, I got this. I know
Yeah,
what I'm doing. I
yeah.
think you were
I
sort of
re-
jumping at the bit to get to the test center. So like, if I
oh,
could just
definitely.
go and I know I can just pass this
Just
thing
let me
now.
show you I
I've
can
got
do
it.
it. Yeah. I mean, that was
And
the
you
thing. I
did.
think the first time, I know I wasn't prepared. I was nervous as hell. I didn't know whether I was ready. This time, I think I told you after the test that a few weeks ago, I felt like going up to the test center and saying, just let me take your lesson. I'll show you. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's like,
I'm ready.
I don't want to get arrogant, but I feel like I know what I'm doing, or I know I've improved where I needed to improve. So yeah, the feedback was really
Yeah,
nice.
well, we'll get into that because I have got it
Yeah,
on screen. It would be good, could be very good to have a little look at that and go through. And what was I going to say? There was something I was just going to say. Yeah, because you're on your second
second pink.
license, the second
Yeah,
pink, and that was going to run out beginning of July. So you'd
July.
had about another 4 weeks on it. So
So
you
I
kind of
wouldn't get.
timed your tests quite well. You're maximizing
Yeah, oh
the
definitely.
experience.
Yeah.
And yeah, I definitely feel that that was a good strategy to
The other
get as much. practice in as you can and get all the help you could.
The other thing I did as well, maybe not by choice, a few of my pupils are uni students and started going home, but I noticed the weeks leading up to the test, I was getting more gaps, which actually gave me time to reflect more on what was I doing that right? Could I improve that? Gave me the time to go out with other ADIs and talk to them. So I would say just don't overload yourself before the test. It's just take your time and make sure you've dotted the I's and crossed the T's, basically. Get it foolproof.
So yeah, so that was good. So do you mind if I'll have a go at
sharing, that's fine.
See if I can do it, because I was having a few technical issues earlier. Let me just do that. So hopefully I'm going to share the right one. So are you looking at have I put it on the screen? Have you got that?
No, I haven't got it at the screen at the minute. I've just got you and me.
Oh, yes, because I've got to click another button. Hang on a minute.
There's always another button.
Have you got it now?
Go. Yeah, I've got it now. Yep.
And is it the one from yesterday with the score of
38? Yeah, 38. On the 28th of May. That's it.
Brilliant. Good. So that's the winning score sheet.
Yeah.
So yeah, but just be worth just sort of flicking through. We'll get to the comments in a minute. So you got your 38. So looking at your lesson planning, 10, yeah. And you've just dropped a couple of points. A point on that one. So did the trainer identify the pupils' learning goals and needs? So because the examiner give you a bit of feedback on that. So were you happy with what he sort of said as to how you could have made that a 3 quite easily?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I just, like you said, you asked a brilliant question, but I didn't pick up on fully listen to what the pupil said. I didn't take in what he said.
That's what the reason,
he liked
your question at the beginning. He said you asked the perfect question, and it was about his clutch control. And rather than leading that pupil, you were really asking that pupil to tell you how they felt and what that, and that sort of opened things up. And he said you asked a really good question then, but he felt you needed to dig a bit more into that.
Should have pushed deeper to that, yeah.
Because what did the examiner feel was like more the root cause of this clutch control thing?
I think he said, was it that he was coming in too fast? So it was more gears and speed rather than the clutch itself.
That's it. He was sometimes coming into a roundabout or a corner or junction in the wrong gear, which was making it jumpy and jolty.
That's it.
And the examiner said if you just delved a little bit deeper into that really good question that you asked and just dig a bit, then the examiner's words that would have opened up everything for you, and then you would have been on that grade A. He said, because if you were then getting into the gears and sorting that out, he would have given you, what did he say, 45? He sort of worked out, he said you'd get 44, 45 grade A if you'd have done that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I know. Yeah.
So, and it cascades through. So you drop the point there on that. Did the trainer identify the pupils' learning goals and needs? Yes, she did, but it could have been better. And then, so why did he give you a 2 on were the practice areas suitable? What was?
Well, it was. He said I'd done the same route too many times. And the reason I did say to him afterwards, the reason I kept repeating it, but looking back, it wasn't the right decision, was that it turns out that my pupil was missing his mirrors. So I was trying to get him to, and every time we tried this corner, he just kept missing his mirrors. So it was like, well, we're going to have to go around and try it again. But like the instructor said, you could have, don't just stick to that one corner. You could have tried other corners with, where you would have pushed him and stretched him a little bit more. So it's like, I can see, because I did actually start to think to myself, I'm getting bored doing this. I know we need to change this now. And then I changed it, but it was probably a little bit too late. We'd done it well. And he said it was sort of learning by rote, because by the end of it, he was sort of changing down too early because he knew what was coming up. He was still missing his mirrors, but his gears and clutch were brilliant. Yeah. He was concentrating on that.
He definitely agreed that you needed to repeat it. He was like, he said he would have done that. He said I would have gone round and done that bit again,
but not as many times as I did.
But then, like you say, he gave that example. It's like once he knows that bend, he kind of knows how sharp it is. He knows what he's got to do. So take him
Change it.
to
Yeah,
another one to see if he can apply what he's learned
yeah,
and apply it to different bends. And then that would have put your score up to 3. So then you would have been a top score on your planning,
yeah,
wouldn't you? So
yeah.
and that was really the feedback, wasn't it? Because if you'd got that, that would cascade through the rest of it. The
Exactly. Yeah,
analysis would have gone higher, so your risk management would have gone higher, that more learning would have taken place. So
yeah,
that like he calculated a 44, 45 had you have done those two things.
yeah.
So
And you could see where it would easily pick up, looking at, like you say, looking at where I dropped points at the beginning, and then if I'd have done those two things, the risk management would have gone up and things like that. So yeah, you can see it sort of ties in with what he's saying, really. Just
so you're going to be well, the examiner said you keep on doing that, you'll come back and get a grade A on your first standards check. That's
yeah,
nice to hear, isn't it?
that was nice to hear. Yeah. So like I say, his feedback and the way he delivers it, because he really made sure you understood what he was saying, and just the way he does it was
He's
really,
very good.
yeah.
He knows how to deliver feedback.
It,
And thank you for letting me join the feedback because I learned
yeah.
so much from that. Just yeah,
Yeah,
he's very relaxed, isn't he? And just
he is.
good
Yeah, it's
feedback.
nice. Yeah,
So this is the feedback. So I mean, you don't see this every day. When an examiner writes a very good lesson, that's quite rare to see that. I've seen a lot of a satisfactory lesson, a good
yeah,
lesson, but a very good lesson.
yeah,
Yeah, so that's really good. So you should be, get that framed. That's really good. So yeah, so as we sort of just said, just to whiz through it. So a very good lesson with adaptations towards mirrors, and yeah, he really liked the way that you naturally adapted. It wasn't like, oh, let's stop the car. Right, we need to adapt the lesson and
yeah,
do this and change the plan.
yeah,
It was you just included it.
yeah.
It's like, do you know what?
You're missing
Problem
your
there.
mirrors. Yeah,
Should we do that as well? Yeah, let's do that.
yeah,
And it was very, he loved that. Very natural,
yeah,
and yeah, he was very complimentary on the way that you
yeah. He did. I like that.
done that.
Yeah,
That was good. And yeah, so linking this with the approach to junctions overall clutch control. The brief at the start of the lesson was short, but the PDI asked very good questions. So yeah, short briefing at the start.
yeah,
Okay, that's interesting.
yeah.
So that was like he said you could have spent a bit longer. Can I share with you some feedback from your first one, if you don't mind?
No, that's
There's a bit
fine.
of
Yeah,
correlation. I don't know if you can
yeah.
remember from.
Yeah.
So
No,
I've just flipped the screen. Are we on a 27 now?
27. Yeah,
That's the first one.
that don't
Wisdom
look too good.
feedback, because this is quite interesting. Look at that sentence on the first one. You put it at the end. So it would have helped
Yeah,
if the PDI had a more detailed briefing, as a lot of
yeah,
these issues would have been uncovered at the start of the lesson. Because the reason I'm saying this is interesting is because quite often, speaking to other people that have done this exam, it's
yeah.
like keep that briefing really short and just crack on.
Get out, get out.
But
Yeah,
but hang on a minute before we just sort of do that. Just think if we're onto something and trying to get to the root cause of something and get the pupil to open up, then that is what's needed.
yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I wasn't sat in the back as well of your thing.
Oh,
How long did you spend talking at the start? Did you feel pressured that I need to get going? Like I've got 2 minutes, I've got to go.
I think I had that. Yeah, it wasn't a very long one. I know. I think he even said about that. He said you could have got the car moving and pushed while we were driving, so you can carry the
Yes.
briefing on. You don't worry. Don't think you've got to do it all there. You could have just asked a few more leading questions as you were driving away. You would have, and that would have opened everything and changed everything. But yes, I was quite aware that I need to get this car moving quick. And I think looking at, I mean, like you say, both of those, I know next time for my standards check, I can take my time, because when we came back, he actually reminded me of the time, because you get to the point where you're getting into the lesson and we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
And he just said, Jerry, I'd like to, can I just make a suggestion? I think we might need to start heading back to the test centre because of the time. And I looked at the time and thought, oh, I went, yeah, thanks ever so much. I said, sorry about that. So I was trying to do the debrief coming into the test centre so we could get that started. So we pulled up with about a minute to go, had a quick recap on the debrief. So I said, okay, thanks. And he actually said to me, don't worry, you got some time, you can waffle on if you need to. So he wasn't overly concerned.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it, when you got an exam?
Yeah. And then he did ask.
Because I was waiting in the car park and you got back and I thought, oh, you're a couple of minutes late. And yeah, I could sort of hear you talking to your pupil and you were going through, and there was a bit of conversation going on. So it was good that you were given that time just to conclude your lesson.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was trying to wrap it up quick, but he was more like, no, you're fine. Just, if you need more time, just carry on.
Brilliant. Brilliant. So I'll flip it back to the other. So we're looking at that's the first feedback, and then on the second one. So basically, I mean that's on there. People, if they want, can look.
Yeah, that's fine.
And but yeah, we've kind of said it. It's like, just get into like the root cause would have pushed that score up. So that's really good, isn't it? Brilliant.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think he did say that he what he liked about it wasn't like I can't remember his exact words, but he said it was just like a lesson, a good lesson, a very good lesson. There was nothing spectacular, but everything that needed to be done was being done. And then he said about the transition or the adaptation, how he liked the way it just smoothly, which was nice, because I didn't want to try and put on I said to my pupil before we picked him up, I said, I don't want any heroics. I just want give me an honest lesson. And, don't climb up on me, talk to me, because I need the feedback to work on. But
you said you definitely had a good pupil there, somebody who responded to, who was chatty.
Yeah, I did have to warn him.
Good attitude, didn't he, Ed?
I did have to warn him that there was no physical contact, because he normally likes a fist bump or something. And I was like, no, we can't. We can't do that. Yeah, we can't be doing that.
Well, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not even going to say anything because I'll probably just say the wrong thing. But
yeah, no, yeah.
So you basically, did you feel like you delivered that, like you just delivered a normal lesson? Like did you sort of start the lesson, get warmed up, and then get into it, or did you have a cold start when Brad?
No, I mean, I picked him up. It was an early start. I picked him up. Yeah, I picked him. I was going to pick him up at 7, and I thought that's too much, because you've got to be aware that your pupil might burn out if they do an hour and a half's drive, then a 40-minute drive with someone else in the back. Yeah. So I said, no, I'll pick you up at 7:30. So because he hadn't driven for a couple of weeks anyway.
Yeah.
And I just made sure I went over everything that was going to happen. It's not for you, it's for me. It might be a good practice for you for your test. Just want a good, honest lesson from you. Don't clam up on me. If you've got a question, don't be afraid to ask. Just, if you're not happy with something yourself, tell me, and we can go and try it again, which is what he normally does. If he does something and he doesn't like it, he'll tell me. And then we just drove around just to get him used to the car. So I could see if I could have an idea if anything else was going to pop up.
Yeah.
And to be fair, the mirrors didn't. And then we pulled away and he just kept missing his left mirror checks. And I was like, I've got to jump on that. I can't that's safety critical. I can't let that go.
Yeah.
And just like, I even said to him at one point, so what mirrors are you not checking then? And he was like, left. I went, right, okay, so come on, and it was like, and then that's how it just adapted. I was like, I think we need to work on this. And he was like, yeah, okay. But funny enough, working on that took his mind off the clutch and the approach speed and actually improved that as well at the end. So you got a 2 for 1. So
very good. So So yeah, another just I guess final question, really, Jerry. So now that you're an ADI,
Yes, thank you.
are you up for helping any PDIs? Do you want them
Yeah,
to? Would you be up for having someone come and watch you?
yeah,
Because you're the man.
yeah. I can't recommend it enough because it's. I mean, it really helped. I'd say it really helped me, even the times when um I thought I'd got it. Just sitting in with someone else and just sitting in the back and watching them, and it was like, yeah, I should be doing that. Why aren't I in the way they lead the questions? And I think the last one I sat on was with Adrian, and I had no intention of getting involved in the lesson, but actually towards the end of the lesson, I was chatting to his pupil and we were bouncing ideas off each other. And it was like, it's nice that
Yeah.
an ADI thought that I was good enough to offer advice. So, but they offer they're so friendly and so helpful. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we are very lucky. We got.
Yeah,
I mean, because they've just gone through it like you've gone
yeah,
through it. You know, you jump on one of these Zooms. You know, you're an ADI. Obviously, still welcome if you want to. You can jump in on them.
yeah.
And you know, you know what it's like being that PDI when you've failed one. You don't know if you're going to pass the next one.
Yeah.
The weight of the world is on your
Oh, yeah,
shoulders. You're like,
definitely.
if I don't get this one, I'll be on a third attempt, and my badge is running out, and there's this pressure in
The
it, so
pressure
much
really
pressure.
starts
And
to
just to
mount then.
turn
Yeah,
up and do a lesson like you did, nice and calm, do a normal lesson. So you got you didn't have to sort of break a sweat. If you're doing it normally, you just don't break a sweat. You just like
it just comes
I'm just
naturally,
being
doesn't
me.
it?
I'm just doing what I
Yeah,
normally do. I'm not trying any harder. I'm not saying any more words. I'm just
no,
being me, doing my
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
And that's all you've got to do. It's people
yeah.
sort of, because of the importance, they try too hard.
I think
They
that, yeah, sometimes
overdo
people
it.
think they've got impressed by something spectacular,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to be me and almost show Brad, like, this is what I can do. This is what, you
Yeah.
know,
This is
if
just
you
a
think
normal lesson.
if you think I'm good enough, pass me. If you don't, I'm going to cry and, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, well, you did it in style. So yeah, thank you very much. So, you know, yeah, I just appreciate you mentioning all the people that helped you. I dare say there's people in there that you forgot to mention,
It
but
probably is.
you know, there's been
But
so
yeah,
many that have helped you on your way. So,
I definitely, yeah.
so
But yeah,
if you've not been mentioned, thank you very much.
I mean, even like I say, yourself and Sam as well. I've sort of bent her ear enough and asked some silly
Oh yeah,
questions.
well, yeah,
But the
thanks.
thing is, I mean, I've put questions on the how to drive, and before I write it, I think, God, does that sound stupid? But sometimes just getting it out there and getting people's reply, you think,
Yeah,
yeah, I
that's it.
did know.
You put on our group on the Facebook group. Oh,
Yeah,
this might seem a silly question, but loads of people answered. I looked at Catherine's response and Mike, and they all had a response
yeah,
that was really thought out and thought, well, you know, what they would be doing and that.
yeah.
That
So
was
I'd
good.
say don't be if you've got a if you've got a thought in your head, just put it out there because someone will answer it. No
Yeah,
one's
no
going to
such
laugh
thing
at
as
you.
a stupid question.
No,
Because
no.
it might just be that thing you think, oh, I didn't know that. I just, yeah. Or
Yeah,
someone's got a different opinion on it. Like we mentioned to Bradley about the old blue light situation. He's, oh, that's a good
yeah,
question. Yeah, like it's, you know, yeah, we should
yeah.
cover more on that. And yeah, we kind of got into it yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah,
Just
we
on a
did. Yeah,
question. So yeah, so just no, I think that's a good point. Never be afraid to ask that question if you think it's obvious that you're not
yeah.
going to show yourself up.
No,
Just
we've all
ask
been
it.
there. Like you say, we've all started from somewhere and had those nagging thoughts and questions. So it's good that we've got a place where we can ask them and that people
That's
will
it,
answer
a safe place, isn't
a
it?
safe place.
Well, because you know what the old
Mm.
social media can be like. There's some
Oh,
forums you
definitely.
put it on there, you get torn apart.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
So that's not very good because then people
No,
don't ask questions
no, they
because
don't.
they're like, well, I'll just get shot down in flames, so I'll just keep it
Yeah.
to myself, you know. Um, but yeah, we're very lucky. We have got a
Mm.
good lot. So so if any of you ADIs that have helped, just thanks. Yeah, really
Yeah. Thank you.
appreciate it. So anyway, so we'll wrap this one up. Okay, so thanks for making it to the end of the video. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe and check out my other videos on the channel. And if you haven't done so already, take a look in the description and check out my DIT kit, because you could be like Jerry and pass as well. Thanks for watching.